I think you have big scale projects like this all around the world. When they build them, I think they get to the back of house and they get to the dressing rooms and the areas where everyone lives and works, and that's where the budget gets slashed. And all of a sudden, you can tell it's a lot more utilitarian most backstages. Here, we've really leaned into the comfort of the artist. These artists, I mean, Ben gives a great perspective of like these artists spend their lives on the road, and it's grueling. It's not the fun fanfare that I think everybody expects. You're living in a big metal box traveling around, and you're showing up at these big concrete buildings in a hot parking lot in the middle of nowhere, USA. How do you stand out, and how do you kind of capture that artist's attention? It's not just the artists, it's the truck drivers, it's the crew, it's the tour managers, it's the promoters, the stagehands, everyone that's coming here to work. From the moment they walk in the door, they get the same treatment, like across the board, the truck drivers, the bus drivers, the crew, the production manager, the artist. It's all one thing, and it's all about the hospitality.
I think we have a beautiful relationship with our city. They graciously, extend kind of a programming budget for us to be able to work with folks who are like, look, I want to work here. I want to have this event with you, but we have to help kind of share some costs. And for us, we know what the community values and what they want to see represented, and that allows us to kind of help cover costs or maybe get a sponsor on board or however we can extend our outreaches financially that, is not putting us in a hole. It helps us, but it also helps them. So we never want to, say no. We always want to find a way to make it work for everybody.
The Orion has a very aggressive recycling program. We have a reusable cup program. So all of our beverages are served in reusable cups that we collect after the show. We have washed and then brought back here so that we can keep reusing them. This allows us to have a really high recycling rate. Last year it was over 40%, and this year we've been trending to make it over 50%, which is something that, as far as a venue of our size, having a recycling rate that high is almost unheard of. So we're very excited to keep making these annual improvements. Everything else that we produce at the Orion gets sent to a waste-to-energy facility. So we send zero waste to landfill, and we've been doing that since we opened in May of 2022. So we are a zero waste to landfill facility, and we have maximum material recovery because we want to get everything that we recycle or that we are then donating to be reused at its highest economic value.
So we work a lot with local small business owners who, maybe they don't have the means or they've never really had the education to understand, oh, I could really impact my local community if I switched my packaging or I, offered a different kind of serveware at an event. So part of our job in inviting people to work with us is we do have these guidelines, but we want to educate you through it and we want to help you. It's not that it's, doing us a favor, but it's also helping you and make your business more sustainable. And maybe you can grow and become bigger and, go to a different venue in another city or another state or country. And you're already set up for success too, because it's the only way that we're going to move forward. We're all pushing towards more sustainable future, and it's just helping them get on board at a local level.
It's always interesting. The people that come through the door, whether it be other promoters, other venue management teams, et cetera, and they're taking pictures of every nook and cranny, and it's like, I'm always like, there's no secret to what we do. And in fact, the more I share with you what we do, the better the whole ecosystem becomes, right? So it's like, I would love for someone to go, I'm going to build the exact replica of the Orion in Tucson or whatever. It's like, please do. There needs to be more of these. There needs to be more of an understanding of like treating the artist how it matters, and how all of this kind of comes together. It's like, that should be the future.
Yeah, keeping our standard is a big part of it, and it shows our dedication to attention to detail. You look around our facility, you look around our dressing rooms, everything is meticulous, everything is done with a purpose. And that is the way we handle our community events. That's the way we plan our community events, is that we want people to not think that we're just doing it because it meets a quota or it meets, a certain demographic. No, we're doing it because it truly means a lot to us, and it truly means a lot to our community. And that dedication that we have it's what keeps us going, and that standard is not going to drop when it comes to our community programming like it doesn't do on our concerts. It's a even line, and it's a constant strain throughout whatever we do. Is just the attention to detail, the standard. It's always there, and we want to extend that to our community partners to show, you can do it too. If you don't have the resources, we can help you. If you don't have the network, we can help you. That's what we're here for. And I think that standard is never going to drop, but we're really raising the bar throughout our community and throughout the state as well.
Our relationship with Fame and Muscle Shoals Sound Studio is obviously very strong, and I've mentioned several times, we're standing on their shoulders. And what an amazing history, what incredible people. And we knew that we wanted to honor that. And it wasn't just about Huntsville. And so when we designed this, you'll see in the dressing rooms, it's really important for us because, as I've mentioned, we have artists in these crews for a moment. We have them in a moment in time that we can get them, and we want to show off North Alabama. What are we going to show them? And so for us, the most compelling story was in the late 1960s, early 70s. It was like what they were doing with music in the space program here in North Alabama was huge. So what we wanted to do was we wanted to replicate and make these dressing rooms kind of tell this story. So if you go to the dressing rooms, you'll see not only is there artifacts from Muscle Shoals Sound Studio and Fame, there's literally a lamp that was over Aretha Franklin as she's recording, but then some of the furniture is from late 1960s NASA, which is pretty incredible. We got really lucky, and I was like, hey, this is crazy. We should call NASA and see if they have any warehouse of, furniture or anything they could throw our way. Sure enough, they happened to be tearing down a building at the time that was full of 1960s furniture. They said, bring a box truck, load it up, and you can have whatever you want. So if you go along the dressing rooms, you'll see some of the furniture even has like the old barcodes from late 1960s NASA. And even the conference table we have in our management office is a big conference table that those scientists were hunched over drawing plans to put the man on the moon. And to us, the people that don't know that story, it's pretty amazing to say, hey, stop and think about it. In North Alabama in the late 1960s, you had engineers hunched over electronic boards figuring out how to put the man on the moon. You go a little west and you have engineers hunched over electronic boards recording some of the most mind-blowing music that's ever been created. Same time period. It's pretty amazing. You have this group of engineers and artists like changing the course of history with music, and right down the road they're putting the man on the moon. That was all happening at a certain time, and it's like, what's in the water? What's going on? So it's pretty amazing to come here and to be able to tell that story. So when we have artists here and they come in, I really want them to walk away going, North Alabama, what's going on? Like, that's a pretty special place. We got to go back and we got to learn more.